Well, that's about it for the garden for this year. I pulled everything up with the exception of the okra over there, which is still giving me a few pods every day, which is kind of nice. And the bell pepper plants. Can you believe that? Look at those things. Man, those things shot up like crazy. And then, of course, on the other end, the tomatoes and everything else are gone. Cucumbers are gone. This year's garden was poor. I wanted to say fair to middling, as we say down in the south, but it was poor. However, the old bell pepper plants seem to be, I don't know what it is, but they seem to be coming alive here. Look at these. I got to pull off a couple here this morning. I think here's a nice big one right down here that has to come off. And I've got a couple of bell peppers I'll probably pull off in a couple of days. And we've got some up on top of the plant here. And we've got some over here, and it's still blooming, you know. We got them there, and down there's another one. They're everywhere. They're getting, there's 3 in a row right there. 1, 2, 3. They're getting fairly decent in size too. I don't know what's going on with this plant over here. Let me check this one out. Well, I don't see anything on this plant. Nothing at all. Maybe the wife cut them off yesterday or something. But anyway, that's the end of the garden, and there'll be no more updates. By the way, I'm kind of glad these things are getting a little bit larger, because this weekend I plan to make some Italian sausage, bell pepper, and onion sandwiches. Oh God, I love those. As a kid, I lived in that Italian neighborhood, and every year they had those Mount Carmel celebrations with that homemade Italian sausage with the bell peppers and the onions on the big grill. Oh, it was just great. 50 cents for a sandwich, which was a lot of money in those days, but my God, the sausage, you know, was big around as my wrist and about a foot long, so it was worth it. Can't get them for that price nowadays. This weekend, though, I will be making one. I've decided to try to do something about this speaker, to try to make it operational. Now, our good buddy Phil over in England, Steel City 321 PB, he's our good subscriber from over there. He said he's tried it in the past, and you know, it winds up being just a total waste of time, because the speakers were so deep in the really old radios, you know, and the ones we have now or later, just within a year or two of these, they've got, you know, much shallower. So what I have here is a really deep speaker. However, the voice coil checks good. It tests good. You can see that thing moving. Let me zoom in here a little bit. The voice coil is pretty good. It doesn't seem to rub or anything. Anyway, he said, you know, he's put extensions on them, you know, which raised the voice coil up a little bit. But trying to adjust it and get it right, it's just nothing but a big pain in the butt. Well, I don't know. I hate to get rid of this, and you know, this is really an old deal. I won't get rid of it, actually, so I might as well give it a try. I figure, what have I got to lose? I have another speaker that we can convert this thing, this radio, to permanent magnet. Not a problem. Easy can do stuff, all right? But this is something I've never tried before, and you know me, I like tearing things apart. So let's tear it apart. We're going to start by drilling out these rivets here that are holding everything together as far as the wiring goes. You got a rivet on this side and a rivet over here, and that'll enable me to remove the voice coil. Okay, it'll come out. And then I need to take off these 4 nuts holding the field coil on. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that will remove the entire voice coil metal cover here. And of course the voice coil is being held in, the field coil is being held in by this big nut. So I may want to loosen this first, and then go ahead and remove the 4 bolts after I drill out this. Let's see what it all looks like after it's all apart. I unsoldered the wires, got them wadded up here with the plug, and drilled out the rivets that were holding that board right there. And there it is right there. all we have to do, and by the way, this thing was held in with, this particular speaker was held in with a screw and a nut that you could use to adjust it. This is what gave it the spring action for the voice coil to move in and out, but as you can see, it's broken. Let me zoom in there, I'll show you where she's broken at. Right there, she busted right there. Take it out, let you see it. This is the voice coil coming out now, okay? And there's your voice coil. Just a bunch of nothing but wire wrapped around a cardboard tube. That's it. And right there is, if I can get a focus here, you can see where the broken part is. See it? Right there, there's two pieces. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I might be, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I can glue it, maybe I can solder it, maybe I can do something. But this is a springy action here which enables the voice coil to go up and down and move the bottom of the speaker. And when the bottom of the speaker moves, of course, you get your sound out of it. So, I don't know who invented that, but I'll tell you what, that is an amazing thing to me. Anyway, we're now down to where I have to remove I have to loosen up this right here before I take these nuts loose. But I'll tell you what, that baby doesn't want to come out. It's a 3/4 size, takes a 3/4 size wrench. I've been soaking it in liquid wrench, this stuff here. I just gave her a good dousing right on top there. And maybe that'll loosen it up enough. Let me give it another try here. Well, I got the field coil separated from the speaker basket. And I managed to salvage most of the surround, which was just felt. That's all it is, thick felt. I'll probably wind up replacing that if all goes well. If it doesn't, I don't have to worry about it. Alright, now we've got to remove some more rivets. I'll have to drill out these small rivets you see right here. They're holding the old speaker between two layers. You can see right there. So that these rivets you see right here have got to be drilled out so I can remove this ring and get that old speaker out of there. And then we can go ahead and put it in the evapo-rust for a few days. Alright, this is the field coil. Let's go ahead and take it apart. Alright, we take this off. Take this off. That goes like that. We're going to put all this in the evapo-rust also, and then this should slide right off, and it does. This is what your field coil looks like, okay? Got a lot of sun here today. Let me come over here and give you a little better look. All it is a coil of wire. You know, they discovered a long time ago that if you run electricity through a wire, it generates a field on the outside of the wire, an electromagnetic field. And they decided, well, gee, if we put a whole bunch of them together, we have a whole lot of field. And that's what they did. And then they just come out of the side of it with two wires. And they can use it as an electromagnet. Is that cool or is that cool? Boy, there's going to be a need to replace those wires if all goes well. And then down in here is the bar. It looks like there might be some more gaskets down in there. There is. Alright, this is just a, I don't know what kind of alloy or what kind, I guess that's, looks like iron, steel, looks like a piece of steel or something, I don't know. But anyway, this is what the field coil goes up and down on. Slides up and down on that thing, like that, up and down, using this as the spring to bring it back into position. But with it being broken, I'm not so sure. Anyway, what we're going to do now is take this, we're going to separate the ring from this, and we're going to take this, we're going to throw it all in the old evapo-rust and see if we can't get a lot of rust off there. Well, the old sun's not cooperating here too much this afternoon. Well, here's what we have now after soaking that stuff in that evapo-rust. It took 2-3 days to get that stuff all removed from there, and then I took it into my buddies in the chrome shop where I work, and they ran it through their chrome vats. And of course it has some pitting on it where the rust was. There's not much you can do about that. You know, they don't have the capability of putting copper layers on. They just nickel plate and then chrome over the top. The inside pitting doesn't matter. Eventually, if I can ever get a speaker cone in there, it'll all be covered up anyway. But most of it turned out pretty good. You know, our field coil cover turned out real nice, and the washer, I had to buy another washer. Somehow the other one got lost in the process. And a nut. Anyway, this is the plate that goes over the top of this, and it's chromed. Looks real good. Looks really nice. And then of course this is the ring that sandwiches the speaker between the basket and it. So, you know, it looks a whole lot better. Now the question is, can I do anything with it? Can I actually come up with a speaker cone that will work with this? You know, there are several options to this, believe it or not. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I mean, what have I got to lose on it? Meanwhile, I will go ahead and finish up the radio with Brendan. We got to change a couple of things, and then we'll go ahead and finish up the cabinet. The weather is finally starting to break down here in Arkansas, and I can get outside and do some refinishing on that floor model cabinet that goes to this Airline 6214. So that's that for now. It looks a whole lot better than it did, even though there is some pitting. I mean, it was pretty rusted real bad, but I'm happy with it. You know, I'm happy with it. What the heck? At least it's preserved. Now if it'll finish up the way I hope it will be done.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
It is time for yours truly to take a sabbatical, a leave of absence from YouTube for a while. So what I've decided, I have a lot of things to do around the house. I have so many large projects that need to be done. It's just going to take a whole lot of time. Plus, you know, I have to work every day, and the cold weather will be setting in the not too distant future. I've got to get started now. I can't wait any longer. So what I'm going to do, by the way, these projects are going to cost some money. I hate the idea of that, but what are you going to do, you know? I will be gone from YouTube. Well, I won't be gone. I won't be uploading any videos until after the first of the year. Probably well after the first of the year. And I've already discussed this with my electronics mentor, Brendan. And, you know, he's not too crazy about it and all that. But, you know, he doesn't understand the projects I have to do. He understands. He just doesn't know the scope of them, the amount I have to get done. And he said, you know, there'll be a lot of people that won't be too happy about it. But really, that's not quite true, because we've got, what, 3,800 subscribers, and only about a third ever watch the videos, and less than 5% of those ever comment. So, you know, it's not a lot of people are going to be, you know, disappointed. It's not going to happen. It's just not that many are watching anyway. So anyway, what we're going to do is we'll shut her down. I'll be watching everyone else's videos from time to time as I get time. By the way, there's a lot of people, you know, a lot of good folks out there making good radio videos and restoration videos of this and that, cars, all kinds of things. Visit them, you know, leave a comment, tell them how much you appreciate it and all that sort of thing. You know, help those guys out while I'm gone, you know, and for that matter, put up a few videos of your own for those of you who have never done it. It's time you got off the pot, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to be an expert at this. Just be yourself, okay? Anyway, let me see if there's any. Oh yeah, I want everyone between now and then to have a good Thanksgiving. I want you to have a Merry Christmas. I want you to have a Happy New Year, and maybe even a Happy Easter. That's how far I'm projecting I'll be gone. But when we come back, if there's anybody still interested, Brendan and I will have a major project that we're going to start on. It's going to be a restoration of something bigger than I've ever done. And it's going to take a lot of videos. It'll be a learning experience all the way for everybody involved, to include myself and probably Brendan with some of that stuff. Anyway, until then, this is John.